Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. I am Horrorboy465, aka Nate Murphy, the Explorer 4 here. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today reviewing The Demented. Now, The Demented, this is the disc. Not really much artwork to the disc. But here is the picture of the movie right there. And The Demented is a film that came out in 2013. The movie gets a 3.9 on IMDb. 3.9, that's just way too low in my opinion. Way too low. The movie is not that bad. Now, the movie was directed by Christopher Roosevelt, and he had directed only one movie, and that's this movie, The Demented. And The Demented isn't really that bad. That's underrated. 3.9 on IMDb, that's a little too underrated. You know, and that's too low of a rating in my opinion. I actually, for what The Demented is, for being a low budget zombie movie, and you know, and working the limited budget they had, it was a pretty decent film. Is it amazing? Is it a classic? Is it a flawless movie? Is it a legendary film? No. There's a lot of problems with it. Well, not even a lot of problems. There's a few problems I have with it. It does have problems, but not a lot. Not enough for me to rant this movie, but I still really enjoyed some aspects of this film. And a 3.9 is a little too low in my opinion. In my opinion, it's a little too low. But The Demented came out in 2013, and of course, this is the Anchor Bay. I believe Anchor Bay was behind the movie. And I think it's actually a pretty decent zombie movie. Although I will warn you guys, if you guys are going to go into this film and watch Demented, it is a low-budget movie, so don't expect it to be like, you know, phenomenal CGI, which, yes, it's a problem, and phenomenal, and for it to be a phenomenal movie. I mean, it is direct-to-video, direct-to-DVD, it is low budget, but I think with the budget they had, it was really well done. Now I will admit this, the score wasn't that good. I can't remember a single song from the movie. The way the movie's shot, I mean, pretty decent, but then again, not much to it. The way that it's shot is pretty basic, actually. And you have some horrendous CGI effects. I will admit that. You got bad music. The way that it's shot isn't anything special. And you got some really bad CGI. And sometimes the acting can get pretty over the top, but for the most part, it's pretty decent. And it's a film that I think is underrated now that I've seen this rating. I didn't even know it was that low rated. But it's not that bad. I've seen much worse than The Demented. Watch Grave Mistake. Grave Mistake could have been a good movie, but the comedy ruined it. Here, at least, it tried to keep it serious, but it had some comedy in there. I mean, not really a lot of comedy, but they had, like, you know, some light humor in there sometimes. Grave Mistake was just horrible. You want to see a bad zombie movie? Watch Grave Mistake. Watch Awaken the Dead. Those movies freaking suck. Go watch The Infected. Go watch, I can name a bunch of low-budget zombie movies that look like crap. But The Demented is actually, in my opinion, it's a decent film. It's not amazing. It's not a flawless movie. I'll say that. But I will say, though, that it is at least a decent film. It is at least a decent, you know, time watching. I at least had a decent time watching it. You know, it wasn't horrible. And it's got a very basic story too. I mean, you got 6 college friends. They go to a weekend getaway. They go to their friend's house, and you know, at first you're sort of thinking that these are just your typical college kids. They're really not. They actually have some depth to them. You know, the Howard, Charlie, Naomi, Bryce, David, and Taylor. All actors did a good job, in my opinion. Although I will say this, though, the guy who played David, Richard Conkey, who was known for Pitch Perfect, Woodlawn, and When the Game Stands. I will admit, though, there's like one really bad thing with his acting. But besides that, though, I mean, his acting was pretty decent. Same with Kayla L. As Taylor. She did a pretty decent job. Ashley Bryan as Bryce did a good job. Brittany Alger and Sarah Butler and Michael Welch. You know, Michael Welch pretty much the jerk of the movie. But, you know, these characters aren't just your typical unlikable characters you see in every horror film. You find out that Taylor and David, their relationship, and you find out that there's a lot of chemistry between them. Bryce is a good friend of all these people. Naomi and Charlie, and you got Howard flirting with Naomi, and you think that she's just gonna be like one of those cheating girls. No, she actually tells him no. And in most horror films, if that would happen, the girl would just be a complete, nasty girl. I'll just say that, and just freaking cheat on dude. But no, this character actually says no, and the chemistry between these people was actually pretty decent. I was very surprised by the acting and the chemistry between these characters. And they're not just throwaways. They're not just your typical stupid dumb college kids. No, they're not out there smoking dope. They're out there just grilling. They have like a water slide set up, and they're just having fun. They're grilling out. Yeah, they're drinking beer, but they're not getting drunk and high and wasted and having sex. No, there's more to these characters than you would think. Their chemistry is fun. You have a lot of fun moments in the movie. You get the idea that they're just not these typical college kids. They're like I said, the Naomi character. When Howard's all flirting with her. You think she's gonna just cheat on her boyfriend Bryce, but then no, she just says no, and it made her character different than other characters in horror films that would just go like, oh, whatever. And Charlotte did a good job as well. Sarah Butler did a good job, and I just thought the acting was pretty decent from this group of people. Decent job, and I like the idea of sort of the virus happening through like a missile that's being launched towards this area. And when the missile hits, it sort of spreads this sort of virus, and it's more of about sort of just like a missile being shot down. Pretty interesting idea. I will admit this though, there's a lot of times in the movie where the CGI is horrible. It is awful. I would say it's probably as bad as 2012 Zombie Apocalypse. It's really bad. Although in one scene they have a zombie dog, at least they had a practical dog with CGI enhancements. In 2012 Zombie Apocalypse, they had an entire CGI dog that looked like crap. And at least in this movie, you don't have CGI tigers. So that's also one of the good things about this movie. You don't have a CGI tiger. So at least you don't got that. And basically, this missile was shot down, and it starts to spread this virus, and people are turning into these zombies. And these zombies aren't typical either. It's a cool twist to where you sort of got these insane zombies. These zombies that sort of freeze until somebody moves, and then they start running towards whatever's moving, making noise and stuff. And while they're running, they're sort of just holding their head like they're a crazy person. So you got like insane zombies, and that's a cool idea. It's a different idea. Insane zombies, crazy zombies. When they're running, they're like holding their head as if they're mad or they're insane or something. Decent idea in my opinion. It's not that stupid. It could have been stupid, but I thought it was executed very well in this movie. And the story is very basic. I mean, you got these zombies approaching this house. The kids board up the house. I think the Howard character gets bit and killed. They find a radio. They call up the radio. They find there's a safe place in the city. They gotta head to the city. Get that cool scene. They gotta make up a plan. Sort of get ready to go to the car. And even before that, you got a scene that I gotta talk about, which was pretty bad. And it's basically where the David character is talking to the Bryce character, and it's after the warhead already dropped and hit a different area. He's like, we could have died, man. I'm just thankful to be alive, man. And I don't know, the acting was pretty over the top. It was just too like serious. He was just like, man, I'm just thankful to be alive, man. And like, I know it sounds like they're doing a decent thing with this character, but the way he acted it was just a little bit too cheesy. It was a little cheesy. He was just like, I'm thankful that now in the future I'm gonna be able to have kids, and I'm gonna be able to have a good life, and I'm gonna be able to do this and that. And the Bryce character's like, yeah, it's pretty deep, man. I'm like, yeah, this character's being too deep. He's like, I'm just thankful that we're all alive and that we're all okay and that we're not all dead. And he was just so cheesy. That was such a bad scene. But I can forgive that because the rest of the movie, all these characters did a decent job. They're pretty much in this room, and then I think the Charlie character, she gets killed by a zombie. The zombies break through a door or something like that, and they're on this room, and they get out of the room, they go into this car, they drive the car out of the place, they get to the city. They found out about these zombies. They gotta remain quiet. And the bad thing about the freaking 2012 zombie apocalypse movie is that they keep being right out in the middle of right out in the middle of the street on the main road, and at least in this movie they're hiding, they're staying out of sight, they're going in buildings, they're not out walking in the middle of the street so that every zombie can see them, and I like the idea that they're sort of like realizing that these zombies aren't what you think. They're not just zombies that eat flesh. No, they're crazy, demented zombies. And you know, the title says it all. I mean, they're demented, crazy, insane zombies. So you got sort of a cross between a zombie and a crazy person. And I like the idea of sort of kind of like Silent Hill, of how in the Silent Hill franchise, if you move those nurse creatures, they sort of move and attack you. Same thing here. The zombies sort of just remain still, or remain still like this. And if you make any noise or any movements, if they see you, they'll start running towards you. That's a cool idea. I actually enjoyed that idea. It made it different. It wasn't just your typical zombie movie. And that's where I'm getting to, is that Demented isn't just your typical zombie movie that you would see, 1,000 times. Whether it be Dead Season, whether it be The Infect, whether it be that movie called Zombie Night, whether it be just I can just go off and name a lot of low-budget zombie movies out there. 2012 Zombie Apocalypse, Rise of the Zombies. I know I haven't seen Rise of the Zombies yet, but I don't have a lot of hope in that movie. It's not your typical zombie movie, and that's what I enjoy about it. And they found out that they got to go to this, I believe it's a school, and they got to get to the rooftop of the school. And on their way there, the David character gets killed by zombies. Pretty much, he sacrifices himself, or no, he gets bit by a zombie, and I think he turned into a zombie. And then you got Bryson, Naomi, and Taylor. I actually think that the Naomi character gets either killed or bitten or something like that. I think so. But I do know that the Taylor and Bryce character, they survived, and I think Naomi might have survived too. But they do this stupid thing, this stupid ending, which is another freaking problem that I can't stand, and it's so stupid, where they make it to the rooftop. They're running in slow motion, and this was actually a decent song playing, and they're getting on the helicopter, and the helicopter's going away, and then they survived. And I'm like, all right, cool. They survived. That's awesome. Could have been a perfect ending. And then they do this whole thing where, oh no, they didn't survive. The helicopter pulled away. It flew away. And then they're left there. You see them getting eaten by zombies. And then the movie ends. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Is that how you're really going to end your film? And I can't remember if it was the other way around. I think it was, though, that way. It shows it at first. They get on a helicopter. It's sunny and bright outside. They're playing this beautiful music. And then, boom. It's like, oh, no, they didn't survive. Boom. They didn't survive. The helicopter just flew away and left them there. And now they're being eaten. And you see characters getting eaten by zombies. And then the movie ends. The movie could have had a great ending if it wasn't for that. So I hate that ending. The music in the movie was pretty forgettable. It was pretty forgettable, honestly. One song I don't mind, and that's the song they played at the end of the movie. But the rest of the score is pretty forgettable. And the way the movie's shot is pretty basic, look kind of low budget. But then again, I really enjoyed the ideas to the movie. And even though the acting can get pretty bad sometimes, for the most part, it's pretty decent. You got some decent makeup effects, decent practical effects in this movie. but you do have some really bad CGI effects. You got horrible CGI effects, and you got a terrible ending to the movie. So The Demented isn't a perfect movie. By no means is it perfect, but I don't think it's as bad to get a 3.9. The movie does have bad CGI. It has forgettable score. For the most part. You got some pretty bad acting sometimes. Not terrible acting, but it gets kind of bad, kind of over the top sometimes. Um, and you know the ending, I didn't like the ending at all. But the movie as a whole, I think it's pretty decent because you do have some good practical effects. You do have a really good story behind it. Basic but still good. And it was handled better than freaking Zombie Apocalypse, 2012 Zombie Apocalypse. So yeah, the movie has a pretty basic story behind it, but it's pretty good. Likable characters, smart characters, not your typical things. I like how they sort of play around with that. It's not your typical movie. Going into this movie, I'll be honest, I was like, whatever, it's just going to be one of those low-budget zombie movies. But no, it was not what I expected it to be. It's a very different movie than other zombie movies. I like the idea of sort of these insane and crazy zombies who stop and like freeze, but then when they hear you or they see you, they run towards whatever they hear or see. I like the idea. I like the idea of them going to the city, and the city looks like it's really abandoned and stuff like that. Really well done. Um, but I hate the ending. I hate the ending because they survived. No, they didn't. It just goes back and no, they didn't survive. The helicopter really did fly away, and they all get eaten. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, movie? Is that how you're really gonna end it? It's a bullcrap ending. But the movie, in my opinion, has some pretty good acting, and for the budget they had to work with, it's a pretty good movie. You got some really well done scenes of action. They're not really action, but you got some really well done chase scenes. You got some really well done ideas with the zombies. I mean, the idea of these crazy, sort of insane zombies is pretty cool. But the movie's pretty decent. It's not amazing. It's not perfect. It's not a legendary film. It's not a perfect film, but it is pretty decent. I still think it's pretty decent zombie movie. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on The Demented, and thanks for watching episode 6 of The Week of the Dead. And I will see you guys on next review. Bye, guys.